Hello, everyone. This is Karen White of Divine Time Astrology, and I'm here again with Neeshee of Atma Astrology. And today we're talking about the sign of Sagittarius. So I'm going to start with the description of Sagittarius in Brihaparashara Hora Shastra. So his back rising is the bow, spelled B-O-W, owned by Jupiter. Sattvic, golden, vigorous at night, fiery, a kshatriya, which means warrior, two-footed at the beginning, four-footed at the end, regular limbed, bearing a bow, standing in the east, moving on the ground, and made splendid by Brahma. So, do you want to go on with the body parts then, Neeshee?
Sure. So Sagittarius corresponds with the buttocks and the tailbone. So that is like the region of the body that this sign covers. Okay, this is, of course, in the context of the zodiac being the body of the human being from Aries to Pisces. So Sagittarius basically is leveraging a lot of strength, a lot of energy. And because the buttocks are a major muscle in the human body, that propels our forward movement. And the development of this part of the body in human beings is part of, what makes our bipedalism so effective. We're basically the only creatures that stand upright on 2 feet like this, for the most part. I mean, primates do a little bit, but they also bend down and all kind, they're a little bit hunched, but we're actually stand on 2 feet and, we're developed for that. So the buttocks is like a core muscle for powering our forward movement, our ability to exert ourselves. So there's a lot of direction in Sagittarius. That's what this is really trying to say, is that there's a lot of direction, there's a lot of purpose, there's a lot of forward movement in Sagittarius. There's also a lot of the qualities of evolution, because we're talking about a part of our anatomy that is like, on the one hand, we have a tailbone, but we don't have a tail. So it's like there's a remnant of what we came from, but we do have gluteus muscles, that are quite powerful. And we can stand and walk. We can run long distances. We can walk long distances, It's like we have different kind of capabilities. So it shows like where we've come from, where we're going. There's a lot in Sagittarius that has to do with what it is to grow as a human being. One of the things that's unique about human beings is the pursuit of truth.
Mm-hmm.
The sense that we have purpose, that we're self-aware, that we have meaning, that we search for meaning, that we want to follow belief systems, all those kinds of things, So this is all part of what's being indicated by the body part of Sagittarius. The tailbone also is still there for us to balance us, the sacrum, all of that, really important for balancing the entire spine. So that's the nervous system. So our uprightness, our ability to be upright in life, therefore, has everything to do with this sign. So it's quite noble.
That's very interesting. It's the opposite to Gemini, which is another human, which is a 100% human sign.
Right.
But Sagittarius is half human and half horse. I believe it is a horse. So very interesting. So Sagittarius is a dual sign or a mutable sign. And that means it's a blend of movable and fixed traits. They change, but not radically. They remain as they are while allowing for adjustments and improvements. So dual signs are multi-talented, and they prompt learning and improvement within the framework of the status quo. And for Sagittarius, sometimes, as you grow and you go through life, you do adjust your philosophy, because life informs you of, what is real and what's true and what isn't true. And so what you believe when you're young can be quite different than what you believe when you're older. And it will be because of the adjustments that you make along the way. Okay, so you want to take the gender of the sign?
Sure. So the gender of Sagittarius is masculine. So Sagittarius is a male sign, which means that it's interested in action, initiation. It's goal-oriented. You know, it wants to see the realization of something concrete in its life. So Sagittarius, as we've been saying, is looking for truth, but it's not just looking for the truth. It wants to find that truth and then live it. That's what it's intended by the masculine connotation here.
Okay, and then because it is a masculine sign and because it's fire, it's considered to be a cruel sign. And that just means that it's focused on getting things done, and or therefore they're harder and pushier. And Sagittarius is so involved in the goal that they're seeking that it can become oblivious to all other things, which is what's required when you're trying to accomplish something that requires a lot of action and energy. So if you know any Sagittariuses, when they get involved in something and you just cease to exist, it's because that's what they're doing. They're doing the sign of Sagittarius. And the end result of that is something that's most likely going to benefit you and everyone else that they know. So you want to see the dosha?
Yeah, the dosha of Sagittarius is Pitta. That's because Sagittarius is a fire element sign. Fire element is what Pitta is comprised of. So Pitta is that quality in Sagittarius that is energized, motivated, that seeks transformation, that looks to create something, that has vision, that has goals, that has ambition. All of those qualities are the qualities of Pitta.
Right. So that leads right into the element, which is fire, as we've been saying. But what's interesting about what Parashara has to say about the fire element is that it represents intuition. And it is, it comes to its knowledge without being able to tell you how. It's like a leap, and it comes to that knowledge. And fire is visionary. It's able to see the future because it's very future oriented. And Sagittarius in particular, being ruled by Jupiter, is very visionary. And a lot of preachers, I've noticed, people involved in the spiritual world, like they're preachers, or mostly preachers I've noticed, or in other spiritual traditions, whether they're preachers or traditional or not, they have that quality. Like you can hear it when they're talking. You hear Sagittarius. And that's because of that. There's that. They're trying to tell you what they've learned. Okay, so you want to take the Guna then?
Sure. The Guna of Sagittarius is Sattva. So the sattvic quality of Sagittarius is seen in the fact that Sagittarius is searching for truth and knowledge. And those are sattvic things. The pursuit of truth, wisdom, knowledge, higher knowledge, all of those things are sattvic in quality. They are pure things. They are things which bring balance to our lives. So that makes the primary motivation of Sagittarius sattvic.
Makes sense. And then the caste is Kshatriya. All the fire signs are the Kshatriya, which means warrior, caste. So they desire to lead and protect because of their noble ideals. So they're related to the 12 houses. All the signs are related to the 12 houses of the zodiac. And the 1st, 5th, and 9th, the Dharma houses, are the houses that are of most interest to the fire signs. And Dharma means philosophical duty. Yeah, so that's Sagittarius. It fits right with everything else we've been saying. So you want to go then with the day and night strong?
Sure. Sagittarius is night strong. So that means that Sagittarius is energized by internal things, by its emotions, by its ideas, by the things that it considers, thinks about, contemplates. All of those things are more energizing than Sagittarius. Internally oriented, basically. That's its fuel source.
And then that leads right into front rising and back rising. Sagittarius is back rising. So it's sometimes that just means that there's some delay or maybe some clumsiness in bringing their ideas into realization. And that's because Sagittarius has so many goals. And so it doesn't always have the realism to bring the goals into realization, or allows realism between it and the goal. So because they're always looking up, you know, wherever that bow is pointing, Sagittarius does better if they have other people along the ride who can take care of the realistic part of it. So they're much better at the ideas than the actual execution of it.
So they're idealists, not realists.
Exactly.
Like
So,
all good visionaries.
right, all good visionaries. So you want to take the feet?
Sure. So Sagittarius is considered to be 2-footed and 4-footed. So that means Sagittarius is quite adaptable. It can be two things. It can be human and it can be animal. You know, it's a hybrid creature, Sagittarius. So that means that, yeah, it can balance both elements of those things. The other thing is that, yeah, the 2-footed sign, you know, the 2-footed signs are human. They're interested in first house things. They're less interested in the 7th house things. They have a self-focus. You know, human beings in general are like that. The 4-footed signs have more strength. They can carry more things. They have more to do with the 10th house matters, and they have less to do with the 4th house matters of the emotions. So Sagittarius is really, in a lot of ways, forging its own path. It's just saying, look, you know, I've got 2 feet, I've got 4 feet. You know, I can be either one of these, and I'm here to do and find my purpose and to fulfill, you know, the goal of finding my purpose, living that truth. And that just has to do with me. It doesn't have to do with you. It doesn't have to do with anything else. You know?
Which is why they probably tend to be rather open-minded, because the fact that people have their own path and they have to figure out what that is.
They get that.
Yeah. Okay, so the Lord of Sagittarius is Jupiter, and Sagittarius is the masculine expression of the energies of Jupiter. Pisces is the feminine. Okay, there are no planets that are exalted in the sign of Sagittarius, though Mercury is a bit uncomfortable there. And that's because Jupiter is more the big picture and Mercury's interested more in the details. So, and then it just depends on other things going on in the chart. It doesn't automatically mean that Mercury in Sagittarius is always a real difficult placement. But it does tend to mean that it's more of a big picture thing than a detailed oriented thing. So you want to go with the color?
The color of Sagittarius is orange. So if you want to propitiate this sign, you can get orange colored gemstones. That would be useful.
Aren't there also people in India, like holy men in India, who wear the color orange?
That's true. Orange is the traditional color of renunciation.
Oh, of renunciation. How interesting is that?
So formal renunciates will typically be draped in orange.
Okay. Well, there's always so much more to say about the signs, but this is what we have for you today on Sagittarius, as according to Brihaparashara. And thank you so much for joining us. And any comments that you have, we would love to read them and respond to you. Until next time, we'll be talking about Capricorn. Thank you and goodbye.